Hello there, and welcome to the show, and today I'm going to be talking about WWE NXT Halloween Havoc. Halloween Havoc took place on October 25th, live from the Finley Toyota Center in Prescott Valley, Arizona, had an attendance of over 2,600 people. Let's talk about the show. Our opening match was Javon Evans and Leon Slater versus Mr. Iguana and La Parka. This was a tag team match showcasing the partnerships that WWE has with TNA and AAA, and I thought this was a fine opening match. Evans and Parka started the match. Iguana was the most over guy in this match, no surprise there. Iguana and Parka hit dives over the top. Slater hit a twisting neckbreaker for a 2 count. Iguana took control. Slater hit a great jumping kick on Parka for a 2 count. Iguana hit a spinning bulldog on Evans. Slater hit a dive over the ring post. Evans hit a frog splash on Parka for a 2 count. Evans and Iguana missed springboard cutters, and the closing sequence, Leon Slater delivered a Swanton 450 on Iguana for the win. Evans and Slater win this match. This was a fine opening match. Leon Slater, to me, was the MVP of this match. Leon Slater, his TNA contract is up sometime in 2026. Leon Slater, 100%, is going to be signing with WWE when his TNA contract expires. And I'm going to make a prediction right now. I'm predicting that sometime within the next 5 years, WWE is going to buy TNA the same way they bought out WCW. I think WWE is going to acquire TNA, and TNA is going to become a fourth brand under the WWE banner. Up next, we had Ethan Page versus El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. in a Day of the Dead match for the NXT North American Championship. Ethan Page came out with some Darby Allin-inspired face paint. They had a feud in AEW, and I thought this was a pretty cool callback. And this, to me, was the best match of the night. Although I will say I was not a fan of the purple lighting that existed for the duration of this match. Wagner hit a Hurricane Rana off the steps on the outside. Page hit a missile dropkick for 2. Page hit a confidence breaker using a trash can lid that got him a 2 count. Page hit a sidewalk slam on a chair that got him a 2 count. Ethan Page then ripped the mask. This caused Wagner to hulk up. He hit a springboard codebreaker for a 2 count. Wagner hit a coast to coast using a trash can that got him a 2 count. In what was the best part of this match and the highlight of Halloween Havoc, Ethan Page hit Ego's Edge onto a trash can that got him a 2 count. Moonsault for 2 by Wagner. And the closing sequence, Ethan Page hits a cutter off the second rope through a table for the win. Ethan Page wins this match and retains the NXT North American Championship. To me, this was easily the best match of the night. Zarya versus Blake Monroe for the NXT Women's North American Championship. Zarya was representing Sol Ruca during this match, as Ruca is the NXT Women's North American Champion. However, she is injured, so Zarya was her representative during this match. Blake attacked the left arm of Zarya, and that was the story of this match. She locked in an armbar using the ropes. Blake hit a missile dropkick on the arm. Blake then locked in another armbar. Zarya powered out. Zarya went for a shoulder tackle. Blake moved out of the way and Zarya hit the ring steps. Sol then pushed Zarya into the ring post and the shoulder popped back into place. Zarya then hit 2 German suplexes and a spear. Blake locked in another armbar, then hit a knee strike for a 2 count. Zarya hit a spear for 2. Blake kicked the crutch that Sol Ruca was using. Zarya helped up Sol. Blake took advantage of this hit, a glamour shot DDT on the outside, and another one in the ring for the win. Blake Monroe became the new NXT Women's North American Champion, ending Sol Ruca's reign at 189 days. I thought this was a fine match. Blake Monroe, she was going to become a champion in NXT. It was inevitable. After the match, the story played out with Sol and Zarya. Sol just looked jaded and Zarya was visibly upset. This was a fine match. The story coming out of it is pretty good, and the outcome was inevitable, and this was the right outcome. JC Jane versus Tatum Paxley for the NXT Women's Championship. Tatum Paxley won a battle royal to become the #1 contender for the NXT Women's Championship. Paxley came out with the culling. Jane came out with Fatal Influence. Jane hit a senton. She went for another one but missed. Paxley hit a standing elbow drop for 2. Paxley hit a step up in Zaguri off the apron. Jane slingshotted Paxley under the ring. Jane hit a running neck breaker for 2. Reed attacked Paxley. Jane hit a clothesline for 2. Paxley hit a fisherman buster. Jane hit an avalanche neck breaker. Jane went for the pin, but Sean Spears put the foot on the rope, causing a break. Reed then hit a crossbody everybody on Shawn Spears and Nico Vance, taking them out. Izzy Dame hit a big boot on Laney Reed. Fallon Henley hit a 619 on Izzy Dame. The ref ejected everybody from the match. Everyone was kicked out. Jane hit a knee strike for 2. Paxley hit a rolling encore and a 450, got a 2 count. Paxley dropped Jane on the apron. The Culling and Fatal Influence return. Izzy Dame entered the ring with the NXT Women's Championship belt. Jane took her out. Tatum Paxley hits Cemetery Drive for the win and becomes the new NXT Women's Champion. And I did not see this coming. For the majority of JC Jane's NXT Women's Championship run, I thought she was going to lose the championship at almost every defense. This was the one defense that I thought, okay, she's gonna win. And she loses. JC Jane's first NXT Women's Championship reign ends at 151 days. After the match, Tatum is celebrating with Shawn Spears and Nico Vance. Izzy Dame does not look happy. The story coming out of this match was very good, in my opinion. This match itself was also pretty good. To me, this was the second best match of the night. I thought this was a very good match. And the story coming out of this, I thought played out pretty well with Tatum Paxley and the Culling. This was a very good match. The Broken Hardys versus Dark State in a Broken Rules match for the NXT Tag Team Championships. The Hardys beat Dark State on NXT Showdown to become the new NXT Tag Team Champions, and I'm guessing the only reason that was done was to give TNA the impression that they were valued in this partnership with WWE, because NXT received a lot of benefit from the partnership with TNA. The partnership was looking pretty one-sided. There was a pretty good promo package for this match talking about the Broken Universe. Jeff Hardy had Fiend-inspired face paint, which I thought was pretty cool. One thing that I did not understand, this was a Broken Rules match, so effectively no disqualifications. Dark State, all 4 guys were out there, and yet the way this match played out, it was 2-on-2 with the other 2 members of Dark State interfering occasionally during the match. Why not just have this be a 4-on-2 brawl from the very beginning? Why did we need this to be a 2-on-2 match? This was Broken Rules. Wouldn't that mean that it's all 4 members of Dark State against the Hardys, but yet for the majority of this match, it was a standard 2-on-2 tag team match? That is just something that didn't make sense to me. The Hardys hit a double DDT on Griffin, side effect, and a splash on Lennox for a 2 count. James and Sugars attacked the Hardys. Hardys took control with chairs. Matt hit a twist of fate with a chair. Jeff suplexed Osiris through a table. The Hardys then set up 2 tables and a ladder. Jeff hit a swanton and Matt hit the leg drop off the ladder on Sugars and James. Lennox and Griffin then took control. Dark State hit the 3D, got a 2 count. Lennox hit a dive over the barricade on Matt. Osiris speared Jeff through the barricade. The Hardys hit 2 twists of fate on Osiris. Swanton on Osiris. Lennox made the save at 2. Twist of fate into another twist of fate on Lennox. Jeff went for a swanton off a ladder through 2 tables, but Osiris moved out of the way. Lennox hit a spinebuster on Matt for 2. Matt was trapped in the corner, and the closing sequence of this match, Dark State hit a Doomsday Device off a ladder through a table on Jeff Hardy for the win. That was a great ending. The Doomsday Device off a ladder through a table, phenomenal. Dark State regained the NXT Tag Team Championships. They are now 2-time NXT Tag Team Champions. The Hardys' reign ends at 17 days, which they weren't going to be the champions for long. I couldn't imagine WWE allowing the NXT Tag Team Championships to be away from NXT for more than a month at most. This was the inevitable outcome. Dark State were always going to win this match. I thought this was a fine match. We've definitely seen better no disqualification matches. There were some impressive spots in this match, especially the finish. We've seen better no DQ matches. That being said, this was a fine no DQ match. And in what was easily the weakest match of the night, Ricky Saints versus Trick Williams for the NXT Championship. The promo package for this match was actually pretty good. The promo package was the best part of this match. And there was a line by Trick Williams where he said, "Sometimes you become the villain of someone else's story." I thought that was a pretty cool line. Trick Williams, to me, he's bigger than NXT. Like, he's been there long enough, it's time for him to get called up to the main roster. That being said, Trick Williams is kind of similar to Jey Uso in that minus the entrance and the catchphrase in the ring, unless he's facing the right opponent, his matches are pretty stale and not that good. and this was not a very good match. Trick attacked Ricky from the start. Trick threw Ricky into the barricade and the ring post. Trick hit a flapjack for 2. Ricky hit a falling DDT. Trick hit 2 Uranagis that got him a 2 count. Trick then hit an awful looking Uranagi through the announce table. Trick shot that got him a 2 count. And in the ring, Ricky Saints hits a spear and a tornado DDT for the win. The tornado DDT is not a good finishing move. I don't know why Ricky Saints has started using the tornado DDT as a finisher, but it is not an impactful finishing move. Unless his opponent sells it the way Pac sells a DDT, there is no reason for the tornado DDT to be his finishing move. He should return to using the Rochambeau or come up with something else. Ricky Saints retains the NXT Championship. Like I mentioned, to me this was easily the weakest match of the night. I was not a fan of this match. To me this was pretty boring. And the show ends with a closing angle involving the culling, and that played out on the episodes of NXT that followed Halloween Havoc, where Tatum Paxley effectively turned face, but she's in a heel faction, and she was doing these open challenges against the advice of the culling, and eventually they would cost her the NXT Women's Championship. She would be kicked out of the culling by Izzy Dame, and that story has been playing out pretty well. Overall, Halloween Havoc 2025 wasn't the best wrestling show. We've definitely seen better from NXT in 2025. I feel that this was possibly the weakest NXT show of the year. This wasn't a bad show, but I mean, minus Tatum Paxley versus JC Jane and Paige versus Wagner, there wasn't a lot to Halloween Havoc. And those are my thoughts on this show. And that is all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to hit like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. You can follow me on Instagram at Said_2000, and I will see you on the next video. Till then, take care.